Okay, hi, my name is Mina and I'm a fourth year PhD student at UC Berkeley, and today I'm very excited to share our work, VidTune, a system for creating video soundtracks with generative music and contextual thumbnails. This work was done during my Adobe internship with Ailey, Ding, Mira, and Brian. So we're in the music session, so we all know how important music is in storytelling, and let me play a quick example. See how the music adds tension to this video. And now let's watch it again with different music. So the same video now looks more funny. And I don't know if you noticed, but what you heard, they're all generated with AI tools. With text-to-music models, creators can now generate any style of music in a few seconds. And one might think that it's a magical tool that solves everything. But it turned out not when we observed 8 video creators use text-to-music systems. The same challenges in other creative tasks also show up here, and creators often struggle to generate diverse options, and then with many generations, it was hard to review and make choices. And prior work in HCI already tackled this by first generating diverse choices, then supporting skimming of outputs. And this has been explored in text, image, and video generations. However, with music, it's actually very harder. The waveforms are not really intuitive, and it requires linear and auditory review. It takes a lot more time to review, and novices in our study spend up to 90 seconds with each music to check the fit with the video. And then after listening, they also forgot which one they liked. And then there were 3 deaf creators in our study who also mentioned the challenge of reviewing music on their own. Existing systems try to visualize music based on audio properties or music vibe, but it's still hard to tell how they're different or how each would impact creators' video. So our core idea is to support video creators in generating diverse soundtracks and represent each music with contextual thumbnails. And our thumbnails encode rich musical attributes, and they're also grounded in the video imagery. So just by glancing, you can guess that this piano music will add tension to your video. And this piece of ukulele would probably fit a heartwarming scene. Now let's see how VidTune used these thumbnails. So users can first upload their videos and provide the video's goal and the target audience. And once the video is loaded, users can select different parts of the scenes, and based on which, VidTune would generate more personalized prompt suggestions. Here, the user is trying to type the prompt, positive, optimistic music for busy morning scenes. And VidTune then generates 4 diverse music tracks from this prompt, each of which is represented with our thumbnails. And let's see how they play in sync with the video. And VidTune also provides fit check, indicating as a bad fit if the music did not really follow the prompt or it clashes with the scene. And users can also edit a track with natural language. So if they like this jazz music but wanted it to be more energetic, VidTune gives 4 tracks reflecting this in diverse ways. One with higher pitch music, one with faster tempo. And finally, after generating many tracks, users can easily filter to only see the music with good fit, where they can also search for specific genre or instruments. And in the music map, generations with similar styles are clustered using audio embeddings. And just notice how these thumbnails make it easier to review than meaningless dots. Here, users can select different parts of the space to generate more similar music. Then how did we generate these thumbnails? So from the user's video, VidTune first extract what object to use as the anchor for thumbnails. So here, the Eiffel Tower was extracted from this Paris vlog. Then we analyze each generated music with an audio language model to convey music styles into visual styles. And you might wonder how we do that. So we translate from musical to visual modality based on music theory and sensory research. So for instance, an electronic genre is conveyed as a cityscape with neon signs, and fast tempo is implied visually with motion lines. Then by combining both prompts, we use an image generation model to get the static thumbnail. And then we use a video generation model to animate it. But the idea of music thumbnail is not new, so we observed how better our approach is. In our technical evaluation study, we compared baseline thumbnails, which are generated without our rules, to 40 VidTune thumbnails, and we collected 1,600 ratings from annotators. We found out that VidTune actually better reflected the corresponding music, and it was more useful for distinguishing alternatives, and both results were significant. We also explored how video creators actually used VidTune in a user study, where 12 video creators compared VidTune to a baseline interface that mimics common text-to-music generation systems. And given the same time, participants actually created 75% more tracks with VidTune because it was really quick and easy to explore and iterate on music generations. And then also the thumbnails really saved time on reviewing together with the video. And because these contextual thumbnails decreased the review burden for reviewing, participants reported higher understanding of music, comparison and recall. However, we also noticed that VidTune's text descriptions are sometimes more helpful than the thumbnails, especially when the generations start to converge. For instance, this creator iterated many times, after which the two music really sounded similar. And here the text highlights that one has accordion and the other one has percussion. We also learned that fit checks are adopted selectively. So even when the VidTune suggested that it's a bad fit because this spooky music kind of clashes with the cheerful scene, one creator still went for it, saying that it's a creative choice in the end. And in our case study with 5 video creators, we also explored how they perceived thumbnails generated based on their own videos. And one participant has put it that it allowed for a more personalized experience, and she even wanted to reuse them in her own YouTube channel. However, one participant noticed that while our thumbnails reflected her purple hair and the black t-shirt, even the slight mismatch can disrupt the flow. And one creator brought his 7-year-old daughter's video, and he loved how VidTune can help young creators to learn and make music. Finally, a deaf creator was so excited about how VidTune enables access to music generation tools for their community because deaf creators can now see music with our thumbnails. Finally, I want to highlight some exciting future directions. So while VidTune proposed visual paradigm for reviewing music, we can also explore visual prompting for generating music, like pinching out the size of an instrument to make it smaller, or dragging in new instrument like piano to compose music. And for more professional editing, we can also explore how to support creators to review the alignment between the music and the actual motion beats from the video. So with that, I would like to end my talk and happy to take any questions.
Javi Morel from Sony. Thanks for the interesting talk. I think this is can be a very useful tool in the first phases of exploration. But then I guess when you settle on a specific genre, mood, I think you talked a little bit towards the end. You know what normally I think me and other people that observe using similar tools do is just kind of keep iterating with the same combination, just with different seeds, right? You can have the same prompt and basically have different variations to hear how different they are, but they actually have the same prompt. So how have you thought about how could you actually visualize differences meaningfully in a way that actually can help your objective to actually give a visual representation when the prompt is the same?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So we involved we recruited some of professional video editors, and they also mentioned the same questions like, oh, when you are actually already narrowed down and you want to really do fine-grained editing, or when you already like it but you want to see really similar alternatives, it's really hard to view with this thumbnails. So I think then maybe we can use more thumbnails laid out to show oh, when the music slightly changes, so maybe we can indicate the tempo change. So one thumbnail, which now we use 5-second loops, so that might not be enough. And I think when it's already narrowed down, text descriptions, we're actually showing BPM differences or exact timing differences could be more helpful in video editing tools. Yeah.
Thank you. Another question.
Hi, cool work. So when I edit, I also have these different competing dimensions in my mind, the rhythm, the mood, and I was wondering when we generate this kind of music, do you also have some sort of ways to cluster or group them under these different dimensions so that it's easier to probably navigate, some sort of hierarchy of music or something like that?
Oh, you mean when you populate so many examples? So I think so our music map kind of does a little bit. So oh, you can, once you have so many, we just cluster based on audio embeddings called cloud model. Now it does not have axis. So one user has also mentioned oh, they want to define axis, so genre, and then they will only look at similar genres or tempo. So that could be the interesting future work. Yeah. I love that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your excellent talk. Let's go to